Hey, good afternoon. I may have introduced you to this little car before, but this is a 1995 Honda Civic. It has a 1.6 liter VTEC engine. When we got this car, it wasn't running. It needed a fuel pump. When you turned the key, there was just no sound. You couldn't hear the priming of the pump or anything. I thought, first thing you should check is the main relay, because that controls the fuel pump. And if that's bad, you replace that, then it all works and you don't have to worry about changing the fuel pump. I changed that. I could have tested it, checked to see if it was good or not using maybe a multimeter or something, but instead I just replaced it. Still didn't work. So that's when I decided to change the fuel pump, which it turned out that that's what it was. But fortunately, it's really easy to change the fuel pump. It's right under the back seat. Let me show you how to do it. As with a lot of small cars, the fuel pump is located on top of the fuel tank, but it's accessed through the back seat. Some vehicles you have to drop the fuel tank, but not in this one. You just lift the seat out and it's right there. But the way to get the seat out, there's two hooks under the seat that hold the seat down. So we have to slide the seat and lift it up. Oh, well, wow, I got more than I bargained for today. Let me show you what's going on in here. I'm glad I went to show you this. We have a bigger problem we need to address. Look at that water. When I pull the seat up, there is water coming from somewhere, and it rained for a few days. So I'm gonna go open the trunk and see if we could see if we can find out the source of this water so we can fix it. So we don't want this car getting moldy inside. This is always stuff we spot for the car to get it working. I don't see, there's a little bit of water back in here, but it's down under the tire. I don't know how it could get. This gasket is solid and in place. Now that's really weird that the water is in the back seat. So I pulled out the whole seat, and it's dripping, it's wet underneath. See how the water's running out from behind it. So I'll go ahead and sop up the water that's in here and see if I can locate where it's coming from. So this car was just some little car that someone had sitting in their driveway for a few years. It stopped running, and they didn't, just because it was an old car, they just bought a new one and didn't really care to fix it. So we just brought it over here on a trailer to work on as a little project car. So don't know. The sunroof used to be where you could open it, but we put some industrial sealant around the top outside of it, so it's not going to open anymore. We sealed it all down real tight so it wouldn't leak. So all this looks really good. I mean, the roof is clean. There's no leaking from there. And down here, all this is dry. It's a little dusty, but it's dry. And even back, let's see, that's dry. I don't understand where this water's coming from. But you know what? Look at the gas tank cover. There's a little bit of water when I push it down. I don't know if you could see that, but right here it looks like water's coming out. What I'm thinking is that somehow it may be coming in from underneath on the top of the gas tank and then coming through. So let me take this plate off and we'll see if we could tell anything from that. Looks pretty dry in there. Yeah, I don't think it's coming from in there. But while I got this open, let me show you about the fuel pump. Oh, there's some kind of dirt dauber nest. I'll clean that out. But yeah, it doesn't look like water's coming from here. But this is what I replaced. There's two things. This right here is the fuel level sensor. This little, see how these little hooks are? What this does is you twist the inside, you push it, and this will go around and you push it so this is free. Yeah, it looks like you'll push it this way and each of these will line up on here until it releases, until it comes to open area on there, and then you just pull it out. This is where it plugs into. That's plug in, and that runs up to the gauge to tell us. It's just a float arm, so it just floats up, and as it floats up, the little magnet on it sends a message to tell how much fuel is in the tank. I couldn't find one of those to replace, so I just had to clean it up. And one thing about this is it was very rusty, and I took the fuel pump out to replace it, and the tank was so full. First of all, the pump was just rusty. I wish I would have kept it to show it to you, because it was very bad off. So I just replaced the tank as well. I thought, I could try and clean out the tank, but I wouldn't have gotten all the rust out of it, and it would have just contaminated the new pump. So it was a couple $100, I think I remember it being. And before I installed it, I put some rubberized coating. I sprayed some rubberized coating on the outside of it to protect it from any bumps and stuff in the road. First, what you would do if you were changing it is you would take these plugs off, so that you would just unhook it, and that way you could remove this cap. See, it has a little rubber ring around it, but it's all dry in here, so I don't think the water's coming from there. And then these are the fuel lines, and so you would make sure that your battery's unplugged, and you would just take off each of these. Looks like a 10mm, and this whole thing lifts up, and it is a fuel pump assembly with a fuel pump on it. So then you just take the new one, put it down in there, bolt it up the same way, hook up the hoses, and you're good to go. This one here is a banjo bolt, and so you got to take this off to get this off of here. And this is like a round piece of, what is that, bronze or brass or something. And so this goes down on there, and then this screws into it, and that helps regulate the fuel pressure. So as you can see, changing the fuel pump is really simple in this car. I know I didn't do it, but it's as easy as I say it is. And the fuel tank is a little bit more difficult to change, just because, well, I won't say that. I'll say, with the proper tools, the fuel tank is easy to change, because you could put it up on a lift and then just drop it, and it'll be as simple as that. But since I didn't have a lift, it was like this close to my face. I crawled under there, and the bottom of the car was right there. I had to jack it up and put boards under the wheels to lift it up enough where me and the fuel tank would fit under there. And then I was laying on my back with the fuel tank, holding it, trying to put the straps on. And it really only weighs, 20 or 30 pounds, but that awkward position made it really difficult. But what it is just two straps. What I ended up doing was I got the jack, and I put a board so that so it would be even pressure on the fuel tank, and I jacked it up. I jacked the fuel tank into place using the jack, and then I hooked the straps on. And so that was a lot easier. I wish I would have thought of that first, instead of trying to hold up the fuel tank underneath with such little room. But I got these bolts, these screws back. They're tight, and it doesn't look like the water was coming out of there, so that's not a problem. I just don't know where the water, we really got to figure that out, because I don't want this car rusting out. So I'll clean this up and then we'll put the seat back in. These little holes right here, these little oblong holes, this is where the front of the seat, it has little wire clips that hook down on there. There's one on either side, and then it just folds down into place. So let me grab a vacuum and get this cleaned up real quick, and then we'll put the seat back in. Now see the way that these hooks are? They're kind of bent like foot. So, and then there's one in the back here that hooks underneath the center. So you just fit it in and do the same thing over there. And then just bend it back and push it down. So something is definitely going on in this little car. Not sure where that water is coming from. All the seals look good and dry. Have to do some more research and figure that out, but I'm glad I went in there to show you where that fuel pump was and how to change it, so I could find that and get that cleaned up. And it has been raining pretty hard out here recently, so hopefully it'll have a time to dry up. I'll put some damp grit in there to keep it from, hopefully that'll keep it from growing mold until I can do some more research and figure out what's going on there with that leak. But you got to get all the stuff put back in the trunk. And go back inside where it's warm. Well, I hope you learned something, and hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and most of all, Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.